All right, I just got home. David's not here. Not sure where he is. He hasn't touched the trailer. I told him to load the trailer with his things, and I would haul it to the new location where he has his new storage. And he hasn't done that yet. So I'm not sure what his plan or goal is, but I was going to park it over here closer, but he's wanting me to park it over there because he wasn't sure if it was going to rain or not. But the grass is already growing up crazy. We had this mowed and yeah, I had this dummy locked. I don't think he's ever been over here. I don't think he's even touched it, so I'm taking the lock off just to see what he says and does, or when he even notices it. I'm not even looking in there. I'm pretty sure everything's rent. It's been sitting in the mud for 7 years. I've been harping on it for 5 years to do something with the stuff in there so I can get it up out of the mud onto the gravel because I want to move it over here. But he's basically refused. So, oh, and then the roof leaked because he didn't basically look after it. So this is the plot that I had for that container, and you can see how long it's been here. A tree's growing up through it. You know, I don't know how old this tree is, but it's got to be at least a couple years old. And this is where I wanted to put it. Been trying to get him to clean it out, and he won't clean it out. So I gave him a 60-day notice about a month ago. And yeah, next week he's got 30 days left. So he better do something, otherwise I'm gonna just start unloading all of his stuff out into the field. I don't give a damn. But then he'll have no choice but to do something with it. But anyhow, yeah, I don't know if he's tried to get in my truck or not. I don't know if he's got the key or not, to be honest. I know he's got the door key, but I don't think he has the ignition key because I had to replace the ignition switch a while back. So, but just to CYOA, I went ahead and disconnected the coil so he doesn't try and use my truck because he don't have a license. He let it expire last year. So, like I said, I just got home. Usually the first thing I do when I come home is check on the animals. What I'm going to focus on today is cleaning up this front area. I'm basically moving everything into the back so the place doesn't look like trash. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm selling the property. I don't know if Sophie's coming up or not. I don't know if this other girl's coming up or not. Her name is Sage. Both of them are from the West Coast. Sage is from Oregon. Sophie is from California and Arizona. So they're of a similar mindset, you know, kind of hippie, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't think Sage is a businesswoman like Sophie is. And I'm not sure how grounded either one of them are. But anyway. Yeah, this is our greenhouse. There's barely anything in here growing. He just put the comfrey up here. And pretty much everything else has been dead. He just started growing some other stuff in here too, like potatoes and tomatoes. But everything else, like I said, is pretty much dead. Like that one associate that came down, I'm still in communication with him, and he still might invest in the future, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But he basically backed out on me because he said, you literally have a bum living in your greenhouse full of trash and dead plants. And as you can see, he hasn't bothered putting this fence up yet still either. It's been here for, I don't know, a good few months. He tells everybody he does all this work around here, but he doesn't do shit. So, really, I haven't seen hardly anything change except for a little bit of stuff in the greenhouse. Nothing else really has changed. Actually, I might mow today. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so maybe the first thing I'll do is mow. I need to mow this path that's growing up. I won't let David use my mower because he tears shit up. And my mom will get mad at me if I let him use it because he tears crap up. He tore up like 6 of my push mowers and then left them out in the field because it wasn't his problem. Yeah, he's like super protective of his lawnmower. Does that make sense? You know, it's like, oh, he won't let anybody use his lawnmower, but yet he'll tear the shit out of mine. Right. And the goats are out. Let's see if he actually let them out or if they let themselves out. But seeing as there's a bunch of them, I think he let them out. We'll see. So, yeah, like I said, not much is done around here. He doesn't do anything while I'm gone. And that was our original agreement, you know, basically, I work to pay all the bills, you know, because he didn't want to be part of the system. He wanted to be off the radar. He wanted to be off the grid. The only reason why he had a driver's license was because he was driving my equipment, my vehicles. He was supposed to get his own, but he never did. In fact, he's securing his own vehicle now for the first time in 10 years. When he first came down here, he was supposed to get a vehicle within the first year. He had my pickup truck, my white one I was just messing with, for 5 years, ran it in the dirt. Tore the shit out of it. And didn't respect it, didn't respect me, didn't, you know, obviously don't respect me or my property. So, eventually, after 5 years, I ended up taking it back from him because I needed it. I went into the oil field and I needed my truck, you know, because I had to drive back and forth from the oil field. Trig, I got you at home. What's up with your butt? She's bloody. Come here, Trig. Hold still. Okay, well, she doesn't look too bad. Maybe she caught herself on the fence when they went under the fence. So now I gotta figure out where they're getting out. But yeah. And then he said something strange to me last week while I was home. He's loading up the hedge and getting it out of the way so I could maneuver and stuff up front. And he helped me load and unload the hedge to the new location. But he said something odd to me. He's like, "Oh, I'm glad to see you're working on the south fence line." It's like, motherfucker, that was your job. He likes to act like he's the one in charge, and it's my responsibility to do what he says. It's more like the other way around. Oh, yeah, I bet you they're pushing under this gate. That's their new escape route right here. Yep. So I gotta get some rocks to put in there. Well, I'm glad she's okay. She got her foot stuck in the fence last week when she jumped over. Maybe she learned her lesson. See how she walks after she gets done peeing. Okay, yeah, she's acting fine. Maybe she ain't gonna jump over the fence no more. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, she got her toe caught right here. And it was bent over. She was hanging here with her leg caught up in the air. And luckily I caught it. I come running, jumped over the fence, and I tried to go and get her undone. And I couldn't get her undone. I had to lift her up in the air and untie her, unstrangle her from the fence or whatever you want to call it. And chicken, buck, 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 buck. Here's a ticky. Want a tick? Buck, 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 buck. I got a tick. Buck, buck, buck. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Come here. Come get the tick. Buck, buck, buck. Buck, 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 buck. Rusty, come here, Rusty. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Come get the tick. Come get the tick, Rusty. Are you not gonna get it? It's like, no, you got a cat. Buck, buck, buck. Buck, 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 buck. Come get the tick. Buck, 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 buck. Buck, 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 buck. Rusty, come here. Come here, Rusty. Get the tick. Buck, buck. Get it. It's crawling up my arm. Buck, buck, buck. He probably don't recognize me because I cut my hair. I look different. Rusty. Buck, buck. Come get the tick. Tick, tick, tick. Come here, Rusty. Rusty. Come here, get it. Get the tick. Alright, I'm gonna have to kill it. Alright. Yeah, he probably don't recognize me because he walked up to the chicken and acted weird like, hey, get away from that guy. He's a stranger. Rusty, come get it. Where'd he go? There it is. Get that tick. Get the tick. Get it, Rusty. Free food. Get it. He's like, I don't know who you are. All right, I'm gonna have to kill it. All right, he's dead. Goats. I like her. She's one of my favorites. In 3 weeks, the bucks are going to the market. June 7th. Not all the bucks. I'm not going to take the Nigerian bucks yet. I'm still trying to sell the Nigerian nannies. I found a home for Trig and the weather where there'll be pets and they'll be well taken care of. They'll be babied, which is a good thing. And they're crying. They want out. I might let them out tomorrow because, like I said, the neighbor's doing the hayfield, so they're not a threat to him anymore. All right. So now that I know where they're getting out, I might just, it depends on how bad it rains tomorrow. I might order a load of gravel tomorrow and have them put some of it there. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna keep the place or not. If Sophia and this girl Sage works out, then I might stay here and try to make this work. This will be my last chance. I'm already looking at my backup plan, and my backup plan is just to sell this place after I buy another place with land where I can park my truck. And Rusty! Rusty! What? Did you call everybody over to see that I cut my hair? It's still me. I'm still the same person. They're like, who the fuck are you? Some weirdo with no hair. I still sound the same, right? He's like, what? Who the heck are you? Luckily, they're not aggressive. But anyways, yeah. So I'm working on the south fence line. Pretty much got the money for the south fence line, but I kind of screwed up. It might be a good thing, it might not. Bitcoin went down, so I dumped all my fencing money into Bitcoin. It was the lowest it's been all year. So, or for a year's period, So I was like, boom! I dumped over $1,000 into it. So I didn't spend all of it on that, but I spent some of it on groceries and whatnot. But I get paid again. Well, I just got paid, but it all went to my mutual fund account, and I'm transferring it over. So it'll be in my account Monday or Tuesday. Escape artists, you guys are. So this guy's not. Oh yeah, he is. So the ones with pink collars, 1, 2, 3, 4, are for sale. And I might have somebody interested in them. If not, I'll take them to the market the following week. I mean, a month. So next month, I'm taking the Kiko Spanish goats to the market. And if if I don't find a buyer for my Nigerian nannies, then I'm taking them to market as well. So here's the south fence line. David started working on it, but he never finished it, right? 7 years. And I basically ended up having to come and do it. So it only took me a couple months to do what I've done so far. I still got to come in and clear out some of these trees. But for the most part, I got all the big trees cleared out. I got the T-posts established where the fence line's supposed to be. Surveyors came out and surveyed it, blah, blah. So, but I got all the T-posts in. I put these cattle panels up where I want to build the berm up. You know, it may not come this high. It may only be this high. But I would like to build the berm up if I stay here. So that's why I put cattle panels in, so I can move them as I raise the berm up. But yeah, he didn't do anything down here, hardly. And you know, all this brush and stuff, I ended up having to move. He didn't bother moving any of it. He didn't cut anything down. Well, he did cut 1 or 2 trees, and that was it. But he was more or less trying to trim them and not cut them. So like he trimmed that tree, but he didn't cut it down. Eventually it's going to have to go anyways, because I need 12 feet, 14 feet. I need 14 feet cleared. So that tree's got to go eventually if I stay. And like this one, you know, the neighbor cut it down, but David didn't bother moving it out of the way, so I got to do it. I got to come out here with my chainsaw, cut it up, and move it. Well, basically, he didn't hardly do shit. He started to, and like everything else, he starts it, but he never finishes it. So I got to do it, as usual. So anyways, so that's pretty much my farm update for the day. I'll top off the chicken feeder, maybe. I changed their setting to 2 feeds a day. Oh, I got to check on the eggs too, because I know David didn't do that. He refuses to do that too. I need to, well, I probably should, well, I'll go in there later and check, but you know, how I checked on the goats just a minute ago is more extensive than how he checks on them. I should have actually went in the yard and actually physically looked around and checked on them like I normally do, but I'll do that later. But yeah, basically, he just walks down, looks around, does a U-turn, and walks back. So like I was talking to somebody about the March incident when I came home and found 3 dead goats, 4 sick goats, and 2 goats were missing. He was home all week. He should have caught at least one of those 3 situations. No, he didn't know about none of it. Or he didn't care. One of the two. He either played dumb and acted like he didn't know, or he didn't know because he didn't look. One of the two. It's kind of like when Austin first moved in, he asked me about a pile of goat bones in his back corner, the back corner of both of our properties. Apparently there was a pile of dead goat bones, or old goat bones, and I didn't know anything about it. So David walks up because he saw me talking to Austin. So he comes over, and so I asked him about it, and he played dumb, said he didn't know anything about it. So I automatically assumed maybe it was Jeff, because Jeff had goats too. But I started doing some research, and basically, we had a whole bunch of dead goats back in 2019. And long story short, the first goats, this is back when they were just David's goats, but his goats were dying, and he blamed it on a neurological disorder and inbreeding is what he called it. He said they were inbred. And so I went out and bought a bunch of more goats so they wouldn't be inbred anymore. And even those goats died. And then he tried to blame me. He said I bought too many goats. I got 15 acres here, and we only had like maybe just over a dozen goats. And I was like, how? And they're all Nigerian dwarfs, right? So I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. How can we have too many? How can we have too many goats? You know? So it was confusing to me. And that's when I figured out that he was bullshitting me. He was lying about everything. Well, not everything, but that stuff. And so I did some more research and found out they had worms. And I tried to get him to give them the worm medicine that I got from the vet. And then he wanted to argue with me that it wasn't organic. And we had on our side off-grid organic farm and retreat. And so he wanted to argue that we can't call ourselves organic if we're not if we're giving them this pharmaceutical. And he basically let more goats die. And I was pissed. And so that's when I took the organic out of our name and just called it Off-Grid Farm and Retreat. But anyways, apparently he was throwing all the dead goats over the fence into the neighbor's field. Well, at the time, the neighbor was Glenn, and he just basically had a hayfield. So he probably either didn't care or didn't notice or something. I don't know. So, strange. There was more eggs in here. They must have ate them. But it's not moist. Interesting. Quit growling. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, there's definitely more. Okay, here we go. All right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I think there's still one extra. What's today's date? Today should be the 14th. Okay. Oop. Gotta be careful. That might break. Oh, there's a new one. Thought there was only 11 in there. All right, cool. Paper. All right. Candy. How's the kittens doing? Well, they're not in there anymore. They're out wandering around. I'm gonna have to get them. That's a 29. That's a new one. Still curious where those other 2 10s went. But anyways, something must have ate them. That's a new one. That's a new one. She's like, he's messing with our eggs. I do gotta go to Bolivar tomorrow. Maybe I'll take some of these to Yiska. Quit growling at me. Interesting. Okay, that one's there. Okay, that one's labeled. And that one's labeled. Doesn't feel like any of them broke, but there's less eggs in here than there were before. There was 12. 2, 4, 6, 7 eggs now. Buck, 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 buck. And there's a whole bunch of eggs back there. Alright. I'm sweating like a pig. They don't recognize me because I ain't got no hair, probably. They're like, you look different. People say they can't smell. So that's probably why they don't recognize me. Scam likely from Illinois. Good. Anyway. Fluffy. So the cats can smell, the goats can smell. So they recognize my scent. But the chickens, maybe not. They might recognize my voice because I understand they recognize voices. But it's just me. So I'll collect these eggs. I'll label them for yesterday. If I keep them, or if I keep any of them. We got a whole bunch of them back there in that corner, so I'm not really interested in keeping them. I mean, if they'll hatch them out, great, but I don't think we've had any successes yet. But these chickens are getting more and more broody, so it's hard telling. But I already got some in my refrigerator I'm supposed to cook up, and I haven't done it yet. I'll see if Cindy wants some. I'm going over there for dinner tonight. A couple of these are warm, like either we're sitting on them or they just came out their butts. But anyways, I'll just set these in here for now. And I'll text Yiska, see if she wants any. And Cindy too. Yeah, she acts like she don't know who I am. It's funny. But anyways. Alright. They probably don't recognize me, you know. They probably think I'm some stranger. But anyhow, alright. I guess I'm gonna mow. I'm gonna use my new mower. And what else was I gonna do? I already forgot. But anyway, I'll do that first. Or maybe I'll wait till the sun goes down. It's not supposed to rain till tomorrow. I'll wait till it's not so hot. I'll hook to my trailer and load some stuff up and bring it back here. That way at least I got air conditioning in between, you know, loading and unloading stuff. So yeah. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'll go ahead and fence off the perimeter because I might be renting this place out to somebody else who wants to run animals while I'm liquidating and looking for someplace else to move. That being said, if I can get an earth ship built here, then I'll probably just do that instead. Have me an earth ship here. And then I might keep the property. Who knows? I got a lot of options. It's not like I don't have options. And yeah. So I got these two girls that want to come up. So we'll see what happens with them. Sophie seems like she's got a lot of potential. The other girl, I don't know. I don't know much about her except for what she says. I've actually not met her in person. But I told her she needs to have her own transportation before she comes up. That's my new rule that I made a couple years ago. Gotta have a driver's license, gotta have your own transportation. Well, just by that rule alone, David's out on both accounts because he let his license go last year, and then his pickup truck that I bought went out this year, so he has no transportation and he has no license. Now, you know, I'm not one to enforce New World Order rules, regulations, standards, codes, and guidelines, but you know, I need people to be productive and proactive, and you gotta have a license, you gotta have transportation in order to do that. Unless you got a horse and buggy and you're gonna be like the Amish. That would be the exception to the rule. Or if you had money and you could pay the Amish Uber to come out and pick you up and take you places, or pay somebody else who lives here for gas, you know, gas and maintenance for their vehicle to take you wherever you want to go or need to go. If you got money, or you're like the Amish, those would be the two exceptions. But David ain't neither one. He's just a bum. Living in my greenhouse full of trash and dead plants. So, I got a clean house. And that's basically what I'm doing. So, whether I stay or whether I go, David's out of here. He's gone. I'm getting rid of him. So, And that's all I got to say about that. And that's mostly because he's been stabbing me in the back for the last, I don't know, 2018. Or not, we'll give him credit for 18. We'll just call it 19. So 19, 20, 21. So the last 3 years, he's been stabbing me in the back. And I finally had enough whenever he let my goats die this last time. And then tried to blame me for it again, like he did the time before last. So I'm like, you know, fuck this. I'm done with your ass. You know, it's one thing to neglect the animals and not be not be responsible and, you know, whatever. But it's another to also not accept accountability for your actions and then try to blame me for your mistakes or your bullshit. It's like, fuck that. And that's why I'm done with him. He's been talking trash on me to the whole community. Yeah, he's basically just been stabbing me in the back. So, trying to basically convince the community that I'm the problem and that he's the solution, but I won't listen to him. Right. So, yeah, he's trying to demonize me. So that just pisses me off even more. So I'm done. I'm just totally done with him. Anyways, yep. So that's that. I'm just glad I got air conditioning in this truck. All right, bye.